People said to me, the one thing that they heard over and over again, that you were the one.
Love and want to protect him more.
I think I'll be a bachelor and I'll swing and I won't fall in love. I'll just be loveful. Love is miserable.
Many romantic relationships appear idyllic on stage, yet conclude with profound sorrow. Wealth and celebrity don't guarantee joy. A significant number, 17, of African-American R&B musicians have endured crushing grief, witnessing the permanent departure of cherished companions. The 17 narratives I will recount are filled with heartbreaking anguish. Painful scars remain in the hearts of the survivors. These turbulent lives and fractured connections may cause considerable emotional distress. Therefore, prepare yourself before proceeding. 17. Al Green, the R&B superstar, was almost killed in a violent relationship. His girlfriend tragically perished. Al Green possesses an instantly recognizable voice in R&B, renowned for captivating hits such as Let's Stay Together. His smooth vocals and alluring stage presence enthralled America. Green swiftly rose to become a sensual icon of soul and R&B during the 1970s. However, lurking beneath the glamour was a horrifying tale that drastically altered his career. One fateful October night in 1974, Al Green was at his Memphis, Tennessee mansion, seeking respite after an exhausting performance. Unforeseeably, this home would become the setting for one of music history's most disturbing crimes. His girlfriend, Mary Woodson, a woman with a difficult past, had silently endured days of neglect and betrayal. Despite her deep affection for Green, she was aware of his infidelity when he refused her marriage proposal. This drove her to desperation. While Green was bathing, Woodson went to the kitchen and heated a pot of water. Her motivations remain unknown, but shortly after, she rushed into the bathroom and poured the boiling water onto him. Green sustained third-degree burns. The ordeal didn't conclude there. Woodson then retrieved his firearm upstairs and took her own life. The incident unfolded rapidly. Police arrived swiftly. The media descended. The nation was shocked. A prominent icon nearly perished at the hands of his lover within his own residence. Intense scrutiny focused on Green's private life, his extramarital affairs, his irresponsible behaviors, and his disregard for others' emotions. He survived, yet the physical scars paled in comparison to the emotional trauma. Green retreated from the public eye for an extended period, turning to gospel music in search of redemption amidst the tragic events of that terrible night. 16. Ray Charles, a disastrous marriage with his wife, marked by betrayal spanning over 2 decades. Ray Charles, a legendary figure in R&B music, is renowned for his distinctive vocals in timeless classics such as Georgia on My Mind. He wasn't merely a musical icon, he was a virtuoso who mastered soul, blues, and jazz genres. However, his personal life was marred by chaos, where his wife and children were overshadowed by his pervasive addiction and numerous romantic entanglements. In 1955, Ray Charles wed Della Beatrice Howard. While many believed she would provide stability in his tumultuous life, reality proved otherwise. Charles's marriage was deeply affected by his drug use and a long history of extramarital affairs. He continued his self-destructive lifestyle. His life involved constant touring, late-night parties, daily drug use, and countless affairs throughout his marriage. Charles fathered 12 children with 10 different women. Della was relegated to the sidelines, a silent observer as her world disintegrated. With his rising fame, Charles's descent deepened. In 1961, his arrest for drug possession caused a significant scandal that damaged his public image. Yet Della remained, clinging to a marriage that had long since ended. Their relationship was marked by constant conflict, ignited by late-night calls, unexpected visits from other women, and Charles's unexplained disappearances for weeks. By 1977, Della finally ended the marriage, filing for divorce after more than 20 years of enduring relentless infidelity. No more tears, no more hope remained, only a woman shattered by the man she had deeply loved. As for Ray Charles, he lost the one person who had consistently supported him. Nonetheless, he continued his downward spiral into drug abuse and solitude until his death. 15. Ike Turner, the abusive husband who compelled Tina Turner to escape under the cover of darkness with $0.36. Ike Turner was celebrated as a rock and roll innovator with Rocket 88, a significant influence on R&B music. He was instrumental in Tina Turner's ascent to fame. However, beneath the glittering facade was a vicious, domineering man consumed by substance abuse, transforming his marriage to Tina into a 16-year ordeal. In 1962, they wed. Yet problems quickly surfaced. Ike controlled not only Tina's career, but her entire existence. He physically assaulted her, issued threats, and subjected her to relentless torment. Each drug-induced outburst turned Tina into his target. New injuries accumulated before prior wounds could heal. In 1968, Tina attempted suicide with sleeping pills, but survived. She saw no path to freedom. However, worse was yet to come. In 1976, everything came crashing down following a savage assault in Dallas. Tina endured a near-fatal attack. That night, she escaped from the hotel. With no possessions, only 36 cents and a gas card. She abandoned her abusive spouse, relinquishing her career, home, and fortune, all under Ike's control. The divorce was finalized in 1978, but when she departed, Tina retained only her name and a body bearing internal and external scars. Ike's cruelty was later revealed through Tina's autobiography, I, Tina, and the film, What's Love Got to Do with It? The revelation shocked the public. The pioneer's image crumbled completely. His reputation was irrevocably tarnished by his reprehensible acts. Ike Turner didn't just lose his wife, he forfeited the last vestiges of public respect. 14. James Brown, the soul king whose wife suffered from abuse and addiction. James Brown reigned as the undisputed king of soul music, a legendary figure renowned for iconic hits such as Papa's Got a Brand New Bag and I Got You, I Feel Good. His influence extended beyond music, fundamentally altering performance styles for countless artists. However, his private life presented a stark contrast, marked by a volatile temper, addiction, and a pattern of harming his wives. In 1970, he married Deidre Jenkins, a union initially idyllic but tragically descending into torment. His uncontrolled anger manifested in physical abuse, leaving Deidre seriously injured and hospitalized in 1975. While his arrest garnered media attention, it was short-lived. Their marriage ultimately dissolved in 1981 after 11 years of fear and abuse, culminating in Deidre's divorce. The pattern of violence, however, persisted. In 2001, he married Tommy Ray Heine, yet his behavior remained unchanged. His drug addiction exacerbated his violent tendencies, leading to a 2004 arrest for assaulting Tommy Ray. Despite the severity of the incident, the situation faded from public view before his death in 2006. His passing ignited a new controversy as Tommy Ray asserted her claim as his legal wife, demanding inheritance. This sparked a protracted legal battle with the Brown family, contesting the validity of the marriage. The media amplified this dispute for years. James Brown's musical legacy remains unparalleled, but unfortunately shadowed by a deeply troubled personal life. Two wives devastated by his violent actions, leaving an enduring mark of sorrow. 13. Clarence Carter, a marriage destroyed by alcohol and infidelity. Clarence Carter possessed one of the South's most unique R&B voices. His famous song, Patches, secured his position in the hearts of many due to its heartfelt, soulful quality. However, away from the recording studio, Carter's personal life was marked by a series of errors that pushed his spouse to the brink. In the 1960s, Clarence wed Annette, who provided unwavering support during his career's early stages. Their future appeared bright, promising a life journey together. Yet, with increasing fame, Carter's life took a downward turn. He became a heavy drinker, frequently returning home in an intoxicated state. Concert tours became pretexts for disappearances, leaving Annette worried and vulnerable to rumors of his affairs. Speculation about his late-night revelry spread throughout the music industry. Despite this, Carter remained unmoved by his actions. Annette's emotional state deteriorated. She was helpless against his worsening addiction and his unfaithfulness. Their home transformed into a scene of increasingly intense arguments, sometimes lasting until sunrise. Carter continued his touring schedule, leaving a trail of chaos in his wake. Annette endured a life of quiet suffering, grappling with betrayal, loneliness, and the burden of a crumbling marriage. By the late 1970s, she reached her breaking point. Divorce, although painful, was unavoidable. Clarence continued his career, serenading audiences with tender love ballads, yet he left behind a wife devastated emotionally and financially. This hidden side of his life was invisible to the public, but known within the music industry. The quiet disintegration of his marriage, fueled by Carter's own actions, was an open secret. 12. Etta James, the R&B legend whose romantic life was devastated by substance abuse and rehabilitation. Etta James's At Last captivated audiences worldwide. Her powerful vocals, striking presence, and fearless spirit solidified her status as a quintessential R&B artist. However, behind the scenes, her personal life was tumultuous, with her husband, Artis Mills, bearing witness to her struggles. In 1969, Etta wed Artis Mills, a man seemingly capable of handling her challenges. Yet, within a few years, the harsh realities of her addiction emerged. Etta's life became dominated by heroin. Concert tours became opportunities for drug use. Her performances served as a facade for her deteriorating health. Artis remained by her side, but this decision inadvertently plunged him into unforeseen hardship. In 1972, both were apprehended for narcotics possession. Artis accepted responsibility, serving his sentence while Etta fought her addiction. Upon his release, he continued to support her, watching her spiral further. Hospitalizations became frequent, and Etta's stability waned dramatically. She would shine brilliantly on stage one evening and appear hollow the next. Artis lived precariously, though they never separated. Their love was incomplete. He lost the woman he cherished not to divorce, but to the addiction that consumed her. The media relentlessly documented her arrests, hospital stays, and relapses. He was drawn into her turmoil, unable to rescue her or depart, enduring over a decade of suffering. Etta's full narrative remains untold, but those closest to her understand that substance abuse deprived her of her talent and her soul love. 11. Marvin Gaye, a Motown legend from Prince to Betrayer, left his wife humiliated and heartbroken. Gaye's iconic Motown hits, including What's Going On, Let's Get It On, and Sexual Healing, cemented his status as a soul music giant. His smooth vocals, captivating appearance, and electrifying stage presence defined him as a soul legend. However, privately, he exhibited reckless, cruel, and self-destructive behaviors, devastating his marriage. In 1963, he married Anna Gordy, sister of Motown's founder Berry Gordy. It initially appeared a strong union, but Gaye's behavior drastically changed. He engaged in numerous affairs, excessive partying, and heavy substance abuse. A new romantic interest appeared almost weekly. Anna helplessly watched her husband's infidelity, as if he lived beyond consequence. By 1975, Gaye's affairs became openly known. He pursued Janice Hunter. Significantly younger than Anna, she was deeply humiliated. As a wife and Motown family member, she became a casualty in his destructive actions. She ultimately filed for divorce in response to this unbearable situation. The process concluded in 1977, leaving lasting emotional scars. Anna later confessed to feeling publicly shamed. The pain didn't cease there. In 1978, Gaye released Here My Dear as part of their divorce settlement, publicly mocking Anna's suffering. This shocked fans and triggered intense media coverage, igniting a major scandal. Both faced criticism, but Anna endured the deepest emotional wounds. Gay not only betrayed her through actions, but exploited her pain for commercial gain. This event shattered the Motown Prince image for many. 10. Percy Sledge, the Love Train vocalist on stage, a betrayer in real life, abandoning his wife disgracefully. Percy Sledge possessed a golden voice, a hallmark of Southern soul music. He achieved global renown for his enduring love song, When a Man Loves a Woman. This timeless ballad resonated with millions, establishing him as a romantic icon. However, beneath these sweet melodies lay a tumultuous personal life and a marriage shattered by his own failings. By the mid-1960s, Percy had attained stardom. He married Rosalie Singleton at the zenith of his career. Yet it seemed the moment he exchanged vows, he abandoned marital fidelity. Concert tours became opportunities for him to explore various cities, surrounded by women he never rejected. Instead, Percy reveled in the attention, embracing a lavish lifestyle he couldn't manage. Rosalie was aware. Initially, she remained silent, striving to preserve their family. The situation culminated in the early 1970s, when one of Percy's extramarital affairs became public knowledge. Subsequently, arguments, tears, and prolonged silences ensued. He continued to sing about love, yet returned home to coldness and deceit. Rosalie finally reached her breaking point, overwhelmed not only by betrayal, but also by the insignificance of her role in her own marriage. By the late 1970s, she departed. Without further warnings or explanations, a divorce finalized the separation, leaving Rosalie alone to raise their children, weighed down by pain and shame. This story remained largely out of the public eye. However, within the Southern music community, it was known that a man who had inspired the world's belief in love had subsequently destroyed his own family. As a result, the song, When a Man Loves a Woman, felt less romantic and more hypocritical. 9. Solomon Burke, the rock and soul monarch with a life of considerable turmoil. His wife endured his countless infidelities and the presence of 21 illegitimate children. Solomon Burke wasn't merely a rock and soul legend celebrated for Cry to Me. He was among the 1960s-80s most impactful R&B musicians. However, his personal life was a whirlwind of romantic chaos and scandals that captivated the public's attention. Married to Doris Williams from the 1960s onward, Solomon's life was anything but straightforward. His uncontrolled behavior transformed him into an unfaithful spouse. Not just one or two, but 21 children were born to numerous women, many outside of marriage. This revelation stunned the music world, becoming a sensational scandal when Burke openly acknowledged it, even providing financial support to many of these children. Each child represented a complex facet of his existence, pushing his family and Doris to their limits. These unrelenting affairs caused intense arguments and relentless fatigue for Doris. She endured not just treachery, but severe emotional wounds. Feeling forsaken and disrespected by her once beloved husband, her feelings intensified. And by the 1980s, Doris ended their tumultuous marriage. This was not easy, resulting in financial difficulties and enduring emotional pain. Solomon continued his lifestyle, regardless of repercussions. The public debated his lasting impact, a gifted artist overshadowed by a chaotic and scandalous personal life. Solomon Burke's name evoked not only musical admiration, but also a weariness connected to the romantic turmoil that persistently cast him in a negative light. 8. Wilson Pickett, a renowned R&B performer. His life, marred by substance abuse and aggression, severely damaged his marriage. Pickett's In the Midnight Hour captivated audiences worldwide. He was one of the most significant R&B singers of the 1960s and 70s. Yet, this dazzling career masked a life consumed by darkness, characterized by conflict, violence, and addiction that ultimately destroyed everything. Pickett's marriage to Bonnie Charlson in the 1960s, initially promising happiness, soon deteriorated. His volatile temperament and alcohol dependency transformed him, causing his drunken episodes to become a source of constant terror for Bonnie. In 1972, a fit of rage led to a brutal attack on Bonnie, requiring immediate hospitalization. This event devastated Bonnie and shocked their circle. Her physical injuries paled in comparison to the deep emotional wounds inflicted. Years of violence, conflict, and Pickett's unstable behavior eroded their relationship. By the late 1970s, Bonnie, unable to endure further suffering, divorced him, ending a protracted period of torment. The psychological scars she endured profoundly affected her subsequent life. Meanwhile, Pickett's erratic behavior persisted. His unchecked substance abuse and violent incidents dominated the headlines, resulting in widespread condemnation. This vibrant, passionate artist was replaced by a violent, uncontrollable figure. Wilson Pickett's life serves as a cautionary tale of the devastating consequences of unchecked destructive habits and the true price of fame and passionate pursuits. 7. Eddie Leverett, the voice behind Love Train, whose marriage crumbled amidst extramarital affairs. Eddie Leverett, the frontman of the O'Jays, an iconic R&B group of the 1970s and 80s, achieved immense success with songs like Love Train. His glittering career and widespread recognition concealed a personal life rife with hidden struggles and unforeseen misfortunes. In the 1970s, Eddie married Raquel Levert, believing she would provide stability beyond his demanding career. However, coinciding with the O'Jays' rise to prominence, Eddie's darker impulses emerged, fueled by fame and extensive touring commitments. He engaged in affairs with several women. Raquel's discovery of his infidelity ignited furious confrontations. Intense conflict escalated. The damage wasn't merely infidelity. It represented a profound breach of trust. Raquel endured this deep hurt silently. The pressures of his demanding work, the seductive allure of fame, and Eddie's unfaithfulness gradually fractured their relationship. By the late 1980s, Raquel initiated the separation, choosing divorce to escape years of emotional turmoil. She assumed the responsibility of raising their children alone, bearing an immeasurable emotional burden. While not widely publicized, Eddie's scandal spread within Philadelphia's music community. The romantic, consistent voice of R&B was eclipsed by accounts of infidelity and betrayal. The public questioned Eddie Levertt's personal conduct. The disparity between his stage persona and his real-world failings serves as a poignant example of how fame cannot protect against severe errors that destroy families. 6. Barry White, the smooth-voiced singer whose marital union dissolved amidst neglect and infidelity controversies. Barry White, renowned for his rich, mesmerizing vocals and the iconic hit "Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe," reigned as an R&B icon during the 1970s and 80s. His romantic songs achieved immense popularity, yet his personal life presented a stark juxtaposition of darkness and heartache. His 1974 wedding to Glowden White initially appeared idyllic. However, Barry's immersion in an extravagant lifestyle, coupled with incessant touring and musical endeavors, resulted in the neglect of his spouse and children. Glowden endured not only solitude, but also the distressing whispers of Barry's extramarital relationships with other women in the music industry. The hidden toll of fame remained obscured from most. The 1980s witnessed escalating tensions. Glowden felt forsaken within a frigid marriage, unloved and undervalued. Intense disputes arose, imbued with the anguish of a betrayed spouse. The turmoil engulfed their family. By 1988, Glowden initiated divorce proceedings. The formerly perfect union crumbled into fragments of sorrow and disillusionment. Barry's extravagant lifestyle and rumored infidelities became relentless targets of media scrutiny. The stark contrast between his romantic onstage image and his scandalous personal life compelled the public to reassess the man beyond the public eye. Barry White, the legendary baritone vocalist, ultimately could not evade the repercussions of fame, forfeiting his love, his partner, and leaving Glodden with lasting emotional scars. 5. Rick James, a renowned R&B and funk musician famous for Super Freak, was a symbol of defiance and extraordinary musical ability. However, his personal life was far from the vibrant melodies of his music. It was a series of devastating events that shocked his fans. During the early 1990s, Rick James's drug addiction spiraled out of control, transforming his rebellious spirit into uncontrollable rage. Tanya Ann Hijazi, his then partner, directly experienced the repercussions of this destructive behavior. His attacks weren't merely disagreements, but terrifying physical assaults. A 1993 kidnapping and assault in a Los Angeles hotel left Tanya with severe physical and emotional trauma. The incident wasn't simply shocking for her, it sent waves through the entertainment industry. The news dominated headlines, shattering Rick's public image. The once charismatic star was now viewed as a man facing serious charges and intense public criticism. The legal case resulted in imprisonment, destroying his previously successful career. Tanya was left with lasting physical and emotional wounds. Despite their later reconciliation and marriage, the trauma remained. These psychological scars continued to haunt Tanya. The events marked a tragic turning point in both their lives. Rick James's narrative is a stark reminder that behind the success and glamour of the music industry often lie deeply personal struggles that many conceal. This relationship wasn't merely a love story. It serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of addiction and violence, pushing a musical icon into profound darkness. 4. Teddy Pendergrass, the R&B superstar whose marriage dissolved amidst infidelity and a devastating accident, achieved legendary status. Teddy Pendergrass, the iconic R&B vocalist behind the hit Love TKO, was an unparalleled figure. His extraordinary career spanning the 1970s and 1980s produced a legacy of cherished romantic ballads. However, his life concealed significant darkness. During the 1980s, Teddy wed Karen. Their union, though outwardly successful, masked his intensely irresponsible lifestyle. Beyond his captivating stage presence, he was infamous for numerous extramarital relationships. Concert tours presented opportunities for infidelity, leveraging his charisma to pursue numerous women. The stress of his career and his philandering provoked intense conflicts with Karen. Then, a catastrophic 1982 car accident resulting in Teddy's paralysis dramatically altered everything and revealed the profound fissures in their relationship. Many suggest his reckless behavior exacerbated the consequences. Subsequently, despite attempts at reconciliation, the past's wounds proved irreconcilable. In 2002, Karen finalized their separation, divorcing Teddy. She couldn't endure the persistent unfaithfulness and the emotional toll of years of conflict. The divorce was not merely a conclusion, but a blemish on Teddy's professional and personal life. His private scandals and romantic entanglements were relentlessly exploited by the media, subjecting him to intense public criticism. Teddy's narrative serves not only as a cautionary tale of a celebrity's downfall, but also as a poignant illustration of the price of neglecting personal fulfillment in the pursuit of fame. 3. Robert Kelly. The clandestine marriage to Aaliyah and a 13-year period of violent tragedy. Robert Kelly, associated with the hit song I Believe I Can Fly, was a prominent R&B artist. His professional career achieved numerous triumphs. However, concealed beneath the fame were hidden secrets and a notorious relationship few dared to discuss. In 1994, Robert Kelly surprised the public with a secret union to Aaliyah. It wasn't a typical wedding, but rather an unlawful one. She was a minor. The event was meticulously concealed. Everyone was aware of Aaliyah being his protege, causing considerable concern. Upon discovery by her family, the situation dissolved, leading to the marriage's annulment. However, the lasting emotional impact on the young Aaliyah was profound. The entertainment industry was stunned. The scandal severely affected both individuals, particularly Aaliyah, who became entangled in constant controversy and rumors. Subsequently, Robert Kelly married Aaliyah in 1996, hoping for a new beginning. Instead, it marked the commencement of a 13-year ordeal. Andrea experienced not only physical mistreatment, but also intense emotional manipulation. The violence and threats occurred in private. In 2005, when Andrea publicly shared her experiences, the world witnessed Robert Kelly's true nature. Her accounts revealed not only physical injuries, but also lasting emotional trauma. By 2009, their abusive marriage concluded with a public separation. Robert Kelly's scandals escalated with allegations of abuse surfacing, notably in 2019's Surviving R. Kelly, making him a target of public criticism and legal action. Behind the captivating stage presence was a love story marked by intense suffering and enduring emotional scars. 2. Bobby Brown, from R&B superstar to substance abuse victim. Forever losing Whitney Houston. Bobby Brown, the artist behind the hit My Prerogative, was a leading 90s R&B figure. His union with Whitney Houston, a legendary vocalist, appeared to be an ideal match. However, Bobby's journey wasn't solely defined by fame. It involved a destructive pattern of substance abuse, aggression, and a devastating romantic downfall. Starting with their 1992 wedding, Bobby embarked on a path of self-destruction, impacting himself and his beloved wife. His drug addiction and excessive drinking led to turmoil. Countless conflicts arose, characterized by physical violence. Specifically, a highly publicized 2003 assault resulted in Whitney sustaining facial injuries. The evidence was undeniable and widely publicized. The media intensely followed the unfolding story. Accounts of pain and bitterness filled the headlines. Bobby's addiction was a relentless force consuming everything, drawing Whitney, once an untarnished icon, into a cycle of substance misuse. Her well-being and career deteriorated significantly. As Bobby continued to wreck their lives through physical abuse, verbal attacks, and unrestrained chaos, this celebrated couple became a prolonged, tragic spectacle, visible and helpless to the public eye. Ultimately, Whitney reached her breaking point. Filing for divorce in 2006, finalized in 2007, Bobby emerged as the defeated party, leaving behind a woman deeply wounded, both physically and emotionally. Whitney's passing in 2012 served as a heartbreaking conclusion to the destruction Bobby initiated. This relationship, marked by violence and addiction, remains one of the music industry's most poignant and controversial narratives. 1. Nayo, a renowned R&B artist famous for chart-topping hits such as So Sick, was once perceived as a romantic icon. His 2016 marriage to Crystal Renee initially appeared idyllic, a picture of marital bliss. However, this facade quickly disintegrated due to infidelity and a clandestine polygamous lifestyle. Over the course of their relationship, Nayo consistently engaged in extramarital affairs, maintaining relationships with 3 women in addition to his wife. In 2022, Renee uncovered evidence of his betrayals online, triggering a media frenzy. Instead of quietly ending the relationship, Renee publicly condemned Nayo's actions, exposing his moral failings. This public humiliation drastically altered Nayo's public image, transforming him from a beloved singer to a figure of controversy. Divorce proceedings commenced in 2022, fueling widespread criticism and generating considerable media attention. The fallout resulted in significant emotional distress for Renee and a considerable loss of public favor for Nayo. The media's intense scrutiny revealed damning evidence, escalating the scandal to an unprecedented level and significantly impacting the R&B genre's image of romantic perfection. Nayo's reckless behavior and infidelities were completely unveiled. he transitioned from a singer of love songs to a symbol of the entertainment industry's darker aspects. These narratives aren't merely individual misfortunes, but expensive educational experiences regarding romance and existence within the artistic community. What are your opinions on these difficult realities? Share your perspectives in the comments section below. Also, if you discovered this video engaging and desire to investigate additional entertainment-related accounts, remember to subscribe and activate the notification bell. Subject: primary role.